Hi, my name is Graham Smith, and this is a shoot 'em up game I'm working on called Ommatidia. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that there is a big black hole at the center of the screen. That is completely intentional. The way I've chosen to render this game is by taking the player's viewpoint in a 2D plane and projecting a vector out. You might call that ray casting or ray tracing until I hit something, and then drawing those points in each direction as the ray was cast out. So if there's something above you that's yellow, there's going to be a yellow pixel up there. If it's blue, it's going to be blue. And the farther away it is, the darker and less colorful it gets. So your enemy here is that orange guy at the top, that big eye. And I call him the lock core. And what he's doing is sending down waves at the player. These blue walls with the kind of yellow dots or the separate moving bits to them. And what he's trying to do is push the player into the gutter, which is down below. That kind of fiery looking orange thing down there. We don't want to get into there. So the waves are fairly simple, and they start off slow, but they get faster and faster. And if you're not totally sure what's behind, as the player just did there, you can get tripped up. But one feature I've added, because I know it's going to be confusing for pretty much everyone out there except the Flatland superfans, is the ability to go back and restart from where you left off. Just saw my debug collision screen there, and this is a different type of attack. You'll notice that you can't really see anything outside of the ring once it's enclosed the player, because this is a perspective projection. We're not looking down at the player. Got crushed there. Now, in a lot of shoot 'em up games, if you touch any wall or barrier, you die. That's not the case here. Only if you get crushed between two moving objects do you have to restart. Now, if you're wondering what an Ommatidia is, and you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like a word he learned on Wikipedia, you would be correct. The Ommatidia are the light receptors that make up the compound eye of an insect or other arthropod. Dragonflies have 30,000 of them per eye. Some animals have as few as, well, 0. And here we have 360. One last phase here, and I think that might do it for the lock core. Yep. Alright, so before we were in a rectangular chamber, now we're in a more circular one, though they look almost exactly the same. You'd have to pay attention to the subtleties of the wall patterning to differentiate them. That's one of the real confusing things about using this sort of projection, is that everything looks curved. And you kind of have to learn by feeling things out and moving around them what is actually curved and what's not. A little more explorational than a lot of the bullet hell type games. And one big difference in this level is that some things actually do hurt you. Those bullets that you see flashing yellow and kind of not moving because they're coming right at you, those will kill you just as the crushing did. So this boss is a little more offensive, whereas the first one was a little more passive and defensive, kind of enclosing the player in a bullet tunnel there. He's got a bunch of different attacks, and this one isn't actually meant to kill you in that way, but you can manage to die if you get yourself in the wrong spot. Gonna do another bullet tunnel, but the boss gets hit too many times, kind of thinks differently about that. And looks like we can take out this second gun here. So what the guy is trying to do right now is push the player into those streams of bullets you see coming off the right and left. Now this is actually a pretty easy attack to dodge because the bullets come from the center and they spread out once they get to the edge of the level. So if you go all the way back and kind of pick your moment, pick your gap, then you can usually get through. Now this is a fun attack because the boss is actually setting a trap for the player. He leaves himself open in the middle and sweeps his guns down from the left and right, kind of creating a V shape that gets smaller and smaller. So if you stay too long in that middle section, you might find it very hard to get out. Now this is another attack and another fun use of perspective, because when the boss draws his hands back, you're not quite sure where the sections are or what he's going to do with them. So let's try that again. Use that rewind feature, and then we can go through the gap between the two sections there. And we got the whirl attack again. Dodged pretty easily by going out to the back. And this might do it. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope to have more content for you soon.